welcome back to our channel, where we talk about British books and tea and crumpets. Ha 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 ha.
Would you like one lump or two?
2 clumps of sugar, please.
Welcome back, Boat Dragons. So glad you're with me today. I have my wonderful daughter joining me today, and she is doing a book review with me for Project Hail Mary.
AKA my favorite book ever. If you remember in my last video with him, I forced him to read this book. So we'll see if it was a good idea or not.
Oh, she had to twist my arm hard to read this book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've still got bruises.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, we're going to do this book review. Before we do, please make sure if you enjoy this video, like the video, subscribe to my channel. I'd love for you to join my Discord as well, where you can talk about this and other great books. Make sure that you comment below if you think she's a better host than I am. You know, maybe I'll just turn this channel over to her.
I'll inherit it in the will, right?
That's right. Wait, are you expecting me to die? Oh my. I'm a little worried here, guys. She's going to be shipping me off to the next mission to space. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Project Hail Mary, yes. Her favorite book. And we did a video where we talked about her top 10 books of all time, and this was at the top, and she chose for me to read it. Mm-hmm. So, and that was the deal in that video. I was required to read whatever book she told me I had to read, and this was the one.
And have you completed the deal?
I have completed the deal. I did indeed read Project Hail Mary. Oh. We'll get it. There it is.
Hey.
Oh no! I don't want. I don't want to block her. We'll block me.
There we go. That's great. Okay.
So I did read Project Hail Mary, and I absolutely loved it. It was such a good book. We'll talk all about it. This is a spoiler-free video, though, so we're not going to go into enormous amounts of detail.
So if you want to read it, which you should, it's the best book in like the whole universe. You can't debate me on it. Then you don't need to be afraid to watch this video.
Right, exactly. Yep, we're not going to spoil it all for you. So this is a science fiction book written by Andy Weir. And if you are familiar with The Martian, if you've seen the movie or if you've read the book, you're familiar with Andy Weir. But this book is different from The Martian in that The Martian was still more science fact. I mean, it was science fiction, but it was more based in what could probably happen in our near future.
Yeah. So The Martian, is, like you said, is more realistic. Mm-hmm. There's no aliens. The author put a lot of research into what he wrote, into how Mars works, how space works, and all that, and even spaceships and all that stuff, to where it could very realistically happen in real life. But compared to this book, there are aliens and there are a lot of things that could not happen in real life. But he still did put the same amount of time and research into the book to where you could see it happening. So it's just, this one's more fiction-y and the other one's more science-y, but they're both very well thought out.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. They both have a lot of research behind them, even though this one is more fictional than The Martian was. There's still just as much scientific research that he went into to put this book together. So if you're looking for a lot of science in your fiction, then this is definitely a good book for you to pick up. And while there are aliens in it, and the probability is less high than something like what happened in The Martian, it's still likely that there's other intelligent life in the universe. So this book just kind of takes that to its logical extreme.
Mm-hmm. And the aliens in this book are very scientific as well. It's not like you got a big head, big eyes, long fingers. They're actual aliens. They're not humanoid. at all, which I really love. Like, for example, Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. I'm sorry, but some of them are just way too alike to humans that I'm just kind of like, But in this book, they're very, like, realistic aliens.
I would agree with that. Yeah, they're very unlike humans as you would expect aliens to be. So, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, most of Doctor Who's aliens are humanoid to some degree or another. So, yeah.
Shall we do a summary?
Yes, we shall do a summary. So our main character in the book is Ryland Grace. He is a former scientist turned high school science teacher.
He's a very, like, down-to-earth kind of guy, but he did a lot of research back in his day into life forms that did not need water or, like, oxygen to live. But all of his colleagues were like, dude, you're stupid. That's so dumb. Everything needs, like, water to live. And so he was kind of, like, shunned out of the scientific community. And that's why he became just a high school teacher.
And something happens that causes the sun to all of a sudden start losing its power.
Yeah, it's basically shrinking, which is crazy and scary.
And scary, yeah, because it really means that if the sun keeps on the path it's going, the Earth will gradually get colder and colder, and all life on Earth will die, or at least most life on Earth will die.
Yay.
Right? Woohoo! Aren't we excited? So a team of research scientists has discovered what they think might be causing the problem, and I'm not going to go into it here because that would be spoilery, but the head of this research team seeks out Ryland Grace as the top priority scientist to work on solving this problem. And of course he's like, no, that's not my thing. I love my students. I want to continue teaching high school. And he's just not given any other alternative except to work for the government to fix this problem. And they kind of twist his arm a little bit. You're not just saving humanity, you're saving your students.
Yeah.
Because
they're big guilt trippers.
Yeah, big guilt trippers. So, yeah.
But, I mean, to be fair, that's what I would do in their situation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah, it's a really unique and interesting plot. Ryland Grace wakes up from...
It's like kind of a coma.
Yeah, kind of a coma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An induced coma.
Yeah, an induced coma. But he doesn't necessarily realize that till later.
Yeah. The really cool thing about this book is it starts out the main character doesn't remember anything. So you're learning with the main character about his surroundings, about the certain things that are going on around him. And it's really cool because you as the reader know just as much as the main character does. And I really, really like that.
Yeah, it's a really cool way to write the story. And literally, like at the beginning, we don't even know who he is. We don't know his name.
He doesn't know his name.
He doesn't know his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He doesn't know his name. He just he wakes up on this medical exam table plugged into these machines and two dead bodies next to him, and he doesn't know who they are.
And all he has is this robotic kind of caretaker that's like giving him nutrients and like getting his blood work and all these things, just kind of monitoring him, and he doesn't know why. He doesn't have any way to see outside either, so he doesn't know where he is, and he has to figure that out by himself.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, and it's like freaky. Like you're in his shoes. It is told in the first person. He's telling you what he's seeing and what he does and doesn't remember, and the whole time you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't. If I was in that situation, I'd be like totally freaking out.
I know,
but
me too.
As he starts to learn more about himself, he starts to realize, oh, okay, I guess I do know what I can do in this situation. And so long story short, he is the VIP in charge of a project to save Earth. So, and that's all I'm going to say on that.
Name of the book, Project Hail Mary.
Yep.
We get to know a lot of interesting characters, which I won't go into. They become very lovable. You'll be like super sympathetic towards them and their story. And honestly, it made me cry at the end of the book.
Oh yeah, it made me cry as well. Yeah. The ending was very emotional and in a happy way. Like really, yeah, it was definitely an emotional ending though. Yeah. And what's cool is you're really getting to explore outside our solar system.
Yeah, basically. We're literally going on an adventure with the characters into space. So if you're a fan of space, which I hope you are if you're reading this book, then you're just going to fall in love with this book.
Absolutely, I agree. So let's talk a little bit about the characters. Really, the only characters we need to talk about in this respect are Ryland Grace. You know, he's our main character. It's all told from his perspective. There are some bureaucrats and leaders of all the nations of Earth that are coming together to work on this project as well. So, you know, you've got Germany, you've got Africa, you've got Great Britain, you've got a whole bunch of places that are coming together to take on this threat of the sun dying.
Basically, everyone is forgetting their differences to come together and like kind of save the world, which is really cool. Yeah,
it is. But as far as all their names go, you'll learn that in the book, and we don't need to really go into many of them because Ryland Grace is your main guy, and then there's Rocky, and we won't go into necessarily who Rocky is.
Yeah, you'll learn about him, but Rocky is our second main character. He's very important to the story. He's my favorite.
Oh yeah, my favorite too.
Sorry,
Rocky
Ryland.
is amazing. Their character growth as individuals, as well as their character growth together, is just awe-inspiring to watch. Yeah. Well, not just awe-inspiring, but it's inspiring to watch.
It's really heartwarming too.
Yeah,
they're great characters apart and together.
Yeah, and the story is just as much about Ryland and Rocky's survival as it is the planet Earth. You'll get it from both perspectives. You'll see the bigger picture of Earth needing to be saved, but there's also the smaller picture of Ryland and Rocky learning to survive the rigors of deep space. What are some good themes that you would say are explored in this book?
Definitely like teamwork. Self-sacrifice.
Yeah,
huge.
that's a huge one. Yeah,
huge, baby. That's huge.
Like you mentioned earlier, putting aside our differences to work together for a bigger cause.
Yeah.
Which does involve self-sacrifice.
And of course, learning who you are as a person, not just through the kind of like amnesia that the main character is, but also just like inner stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and also there's a strong theme of forgiveness too, because there's things that happen specifically to the main character that he does not realize till later actually happened. And so once he realizes, he starts to become bitter and angry, and after a while he just learns, it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah, especially with the situation he was in. It's okay to let go, and that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk pros and cons. And definitely more pros than cons for me.
Oh, yeah.
But
I can only really think of one con, and I swear I'm not being biased. I swear.
What was your con? We'll start with the cons, by the way.
Just my one con is, and I remember you telling me about this when you finished the book, is some things can be a little confusing. The author is really, really smart, and so he talks about things in a really, really smart way. And the reader might feel a little bit like, huh? What was that? When they're reading it, but it's not that big. Like, I really love space, so I've done a lot of, like, research into it, but I'm not that knowledgeable about it like the author is. But even while I was reading it, I didn't feel so stupid that I wanted to put the book down. It kind of like inspired me, it amazed me. So it's not even that much of a con.
Right.
It's more like a pro-con.
Yeah, it could be a con to some people for sure, and The Martian was kind of like that too. So if you're used to the author, you probably know what to expect with this, because it's kind of cool too, because the author isn't a scientist; he's just a really big like science nerd.
Yeah,
and this is kind of his hobby. It's what he gets into and gets motivated by. So. But yeah, you're right. That was a little bit of a con for me too. Sometimes things kind of went over my head, but the coolness of it just kind of
it
overrode that.
Yeah, it completely outweighed the dumbness I felt while reading it. It was just awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. As far as prose go, definitely the character work was top notch for me. You guys know I'm a character driven reader.
Yeah.
And so are you.
I love me some characters.
Yeah. And so, characters were a big deal in this book. Ryland and Rocky especially. The other characters in the book are good. They're just not as developed as Ryland and Rocky are.
But they're still very entertaining. I remember so many times in the story where I was just laughing about what a character was doing. The book is very comedic while also like having a serious side to it, which is what I really love about Andy Weir. He can find the humor in like the characters in the story while also giving you such like an emotional, like serious kind of story. It's really really cool.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, one character in particular that made me laugh a lot was the Russian general.
Yeah.
Oh man. That he was so funny. He was really great. With something like this, we do have to talk about world building because, oh man, this book takes a huge risk in that he's taking us out into deep space, into something that's not familiar territory to the average human on planet Earth.
Yeah.
But to a planetologist, of course, they're familiar with other galaxies that are adjacent to ours and stuff. So the author does take a risk in building out a world that takes place outside of Earth. But he does it really, really well. It's very believable. It feels like... I felt like I was there.
Yeah, me too.
On the space cruiser or whatever that he was on. So
yeah, he makes it feel like very real. Like he takes you and he puts you in the story and you feel like you're there. Like you said, even though it's out in space, it just feels familiar to you.
Mm-hmm. And also too, one thing that I really liked is it kept building and building toward a climax, and once it hit that climax, it paid off really well. I read lots of books where it builds you up to this big thing that you think is going to happen, and then it just falls flat.
But this does the opposite.
This does exactly the opposite. It was so good. And surprising as well. Well, and there's a few surprises throughout the book. Like early on, you find out what is supposed to be the end result of this mission for Ryland personally.
It's intense. I was like on the edge of my seat. I think I was reading this book while I was at work, and I was like, and oh my god, if you're gonna read this book, when you get to that, you're gonna have the same reaction.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. It was crazy for me too. I was on the edge of my seat as well. And then from there, it goes into a twist on that, and all of a sudden something else is supposed to happen. And then there's a twist on that at the very end, and you're like, wait, what? I thought it was going to be this way, but now it's this way. So you're getting thrown into left field in a good way a couple of different times. And I love that because I couldn't predict the way the book was going to end.
Yeah, that's what's really cool about the book. You don't even know what's happening at the start, so there's no way that you can predict what's going to happen. And especially with those twists too, like you mentioned at the end, you're along for the ride, basically.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And, along for the ride. No pun intended, right? Yeah, it was a very fun ride, and I highly recommend it to anyone. So as far as my rank goes, I usually do like a tier ranking system.
Okay.
So and I'll have it up here on the screen so you guys can see what my tier ranking system is. But this goes in my top tier. This goes in my soaring tier. This book absolutely soared for me. It's one of those books that I would love to read again. And it's one of those books that I think I could read again.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it feels like it's a very it feels like it's a very rereadable book.
Mm-hmm. Even after he finished reading it, it made me want to reread it again. I just finished it like last year. So it's just such a fun book, such fun characters. You'll never get tired of it.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm really happy that she twisted my arm to read the book. And I've been wanting to read it anyway. I'd just been procrastinating.
Yeah, you're a procrastinator.
I am, yeah. So I've read it. I loved it. I think you guys would too. Let us know in the comments below what you think about this review. And have you read Project Hail Mary?
If so, if you have read it, talk about it with me and him in the comments, please. I love this book. I just want to talk to people about it, please.
Absolutely, yeah. She'll keep track of the comments, and she'll probably be interacting with you in the comments as well on occasion. So,
yeah.
Also, if you haven't read it, does this make you want to read it more? Have you been on the fence with it? Let us know that too. I really want to know if this video is helpful to get you over that hump to actually reading the book. So yeah,
I hope so.
I hope so too. Yeah. So that's it, guys. I think that about covers Project Hail Mary.
Yeah.
If you have any other questions that we did not cover, comment below as well. I'm going to have a spoilers section pinned in the comments below, so if you want to talk spoilers, that's the place to do it, just in case anybody hasn't read it.
Yeah, don't go around spoiling other people. That's not cool.
Yeah, definitely not. But I'll have a special section in the comments specifically for spoilers. That's it.
Cool.
So until next time, guys, make sure you're reading more books.
Go subscribe to him and all that good stuff.
And let me know if you want to see her again. I'm sure you do.
I hope so.
All right, take care, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye. Hey, Book Dragons.
Oh, you should totally do that. You should totally do that.
Wait, can I sit in your seat?
Oh yeah, you totally should.
Hello, Book Dragons. Welcome back to my channel. So great to have you back. I'm here with my amazing daughter, Charles.
And I'm so excited to be on the video with Brianna.
Today we're going to be talking about Project Hail Mary, aka the best book ever written, and she actually convinced me to read it.
That's right. I sure did.
And it turned out amazing. Yeah. Subscribe, like, and comment. I was kind of hoping I could get my shirt in it. That made me look even less normal, but I guess it's fine. It's a skull with an eyeball and blood and guts.
Yeah.
And more eyeballs.
Nice.
Yeah. You guys want to see my shirt? Woo!
Yep.
Where do I look again? The red dot?
Just straight ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay. Right there. Right there.
Right there.
Okay.